Hi guys, Elle here. So today I am finally going to share with you where I'm at with my Book of Shadows. This beast of a Book of Shadows right here. Really super fast, I swear, before I jump in, because I kind of hate when people start off their YouTube videos with excuses as to why they haven't made YouTube videos in a while. But really quick, I had this awful thing happen. This was like several months ago, but I've come to call it the Great Computer Crash of 2017. And I lost, I swear to God, guys, like 7 videos that I had worked so hard on. Including the first update on my Book of Shadows. I also did like the flying ointment video that came out really good, and the video on Thor and some more tarot videos, and oh god, I was just like so friggin' defeated after that. Like, screw YouTube, I don't want to do it anymore. Blah blah blah. And then also recently, actually, these things always happen in threes, don't they? But we had like 3 kind of big deaths in the family, and life's been crazy. You guys know your lives are crazy too. But I miss this so much, and I definitely wanted to do this one first before it gets way too out of hand, because there's just so much in here now. Anyway, as you can see, it doesn't look too different than it's been about a year, I think, since I first showed it to you. And there was only like a handful of pages done, but I had just finished putting it together. And I had mentioned, I still haven't found it, I was going to look for a piece of jewelry or something to stick right in the center there, and I haven't come across anything just yet. I figure if I do find something, like, I'll know it when I see it. So I have added some other bling, as you could call it, to this baby. These are some leftover beads with wood-burnt runes in them that are left over from when I made my my runic prayer beads, which are right here, actually. Oh, there they are. So I put them to good use. I attached them to a paper clip and added a little tassel to it. Makes a nice bookmark. I have like a million bookmarks and page holders in here, and that is very handy. Let me tell you, that's what those guys are too, sticking out. I have a couple of peacock feathers as page markers. I have one more. Look at all, it's so thick. I love it. There's another paperclip one, and I used some beads from an old mala that had broken, one of those skull malas. I love it. And then down here, I can't hold this and show you. Maybe we'll go like this. I had these in there last time, these 3 ribbons as page holders, 3 white ribbons. And I don't know, I just snazzed them up a bit. This is from a necklace that I have. That is a Viking, like a Viking ship sailing into the west. So beautiful. This one is 3 rings that are 1 ring. And lastly, a little quartz crystal. So pretty. Okay, let the tour begin. Ta-da! This is the same cover page I think I had last time. I am definitely keeping my Ouroboros as the first page. It's one of my favorite images of all time. Actually, last time I was asking you guys if I should use the little one or the big one, and I figured out a way around it. I used both! The big one's in the back. I just reversed him so he's upside down in the back and right side up in the front. Ta-da! I actually had a hell of a time figuring out what I wanted to put on these front and back inside covers. Knock this plant over. Oh my god. Okay, sorry. It was one of those things. Like, one of the things I love about this book is that you can take these pages in and out. It's a post-bound book, but these were a little bit more permanent. So, of course, I had that hesitation for a while. I'm like, what am I going to write here? I can't change it. And then, actually, recently I did about 6 months ago now, I guess, when the book would finally really just kind of come together and I was just starting to be able to use it because there was enough stuff in there. I decided to do like a little ritual, a book blessing kind of thing, to Bragi, the god of, I call him the god of metaphors, the god of writing and poetry, and I feel like it's through him that we're able to decipher and interpret the code. You know, the mysteries of the world around us, of the physical world of Midgard, and so he's who I turn to help bless this book and take inspiration from him and lend me inspiration and blah 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 blah. So I had written this beautiful book blessing or prayer to Bragi, and I was literally just about to write it in here when I got struck by Bragi with an idea. And it doesn't that look like how in like old library books and stuff you would have like, what do they call that thing where you put the paper in when you check it out or whatever? But to do this with tarot cards. So this is actually from that Bragi book blessing ritual. It's a little evergreen sprig. We'll put him to the side. But this is my Oswald Worth deck. And the reason that it fits up here is because they're paper, like they're not real tarot cards, so I can't really do a reading with them. I had taken to using them for meditation. And so I love keeping them in my book. It's so perfect. And they're thinner than regular cards. It's just the majors, but it fits so well. Right up here. This is one of the very few instances in this entire book that you will see any sort of like a scrapbooking kind of thing, where something's like glued in or taped in or added on top of the pages. I didn't want the book to get huge or big or messy. I really like the idea of keeping this book like clean and a peaceful feeling. You know, I've done other books like that where things get, there's just a lot all over the place, lots of images, lots of this, lots of that, and I just wanted to avoid that with this one. All right, moving on. This is a new page. That is my blood in it. It does. Let's see what happens if I zoom in on this guy. Oh yeah, you guys can see a little bit better, huh? Wait, it's too much. Well, let's try that there. This is sort of like my title page. This is my Galdrabok. Galdra meaning magic. My magic book, really. There you go. The magic book. I do call it a book of shadows. You go to grimoire. I call it everything. It is what it is. I have a Volknot here. I have this tattooed on my chest, actually, too. It's one of my favorite symbols. I have some stuff written in runes throughout the entire book. There's some more. This page I had last time. That was one of the first pages I ever made for this book. And I still love it. I think it came out beautiful. This is a prayer to All-Father, to Odin. I didn't do this artwork on the sides here or trace it or anything. This I printed right off the internet. I printed out all sorts of really cool different borders that had big spaces in the middle for me to just write in. And this is like a poem prayer, really. A rune prayer. Right from Edward Thorson, that one. This I had in there last time. This is a book blessing. And added this gorgeous picture over here. Every single picture that's in here, it has a lot of meaning to me. Okay, this is another spot where I actually have kind of scrapbooking kind of thing. Like I said, there's not a lot of that in here. But I had this idea because I had this gorgeous paper and it was even in this beautiful kind of envelope for it. And I just want to use it. It has all this gold in it. I don't know if you can see that, the way it reflects, and it fit the style of my book. So I finally just recently decided what I'm going to do with it. I've had it in here for quite a while. I didn't know what I wanted to do with it. There's some sheets of paper. This is all I have left of this paper, actually, so hanging on to it. And then I also have I have a couple envelopes here, but there's also these little cards that have the same design all over it. They're just beautiful. And at first I was like, oh, I can write like prayers or something on them and throw them in here. But I realized that it would be a really great place to put some of my common like recipes, like things that I need to take to the kitchen. And at first I wasn't going to do that because like, they're going to get ruined if I take just a piece of paper with me. It's going to get wet or whatever. But then I realized I have a laminator. So I think eventually that's what I'm going to do, is write my recipes on there and then actually laminate them and leave them in here, and then I can pull them out whenever I want. Next up over here, I had this page last time actually. I call it the Theosophic Seal. And I actually have that tattooed on me. At the bottom it says there's no religion higher than truth. This whole symbol is just beautiful. It's amazing. It's wonderful. Oh wait, you can't see it from here. Oh, there it is on the back of my right forearm. I actually have it in Sanskrit though. Satyat nasti parodharma. Don't judge my pronunciation. That's another video I made, by the way, guys. Just so as you know, I had so many people asking to see a video explaining or talking about my tattoos and my spiritual tattoos and things. And I actually filmed it, but it's lost. Gonna have to redo that one. This is an Alchemical Mandala. I had that last time too. Okay, this is a brand new page. How beautiful is that, by the way? Yeah, I love it. I drew this, like I copied it, but I didn't, well, I copied some of it. I changed a lot of it. But I drew it myself, like by hand, and painted it myself. I haven't drawn or painted at all since I was like in grade school. Like, it's not so, I'm always that person who's like, I'm not an artist, I can't draw, blah blah blah. But at the same time, you guys know it's true too, right? If you want to learn how to do something, you can teach yourself how to do anything. So the last few months, I started from scratch. I watched a lot of YouTube videos. I was just so inspired by so many other people's books where they had their own artwork in here, and it painted in their books. And I was like, I want to be able to do that. So yeah, there's a few paintings in here that I've done. This beautiful old tree here, how cool is that? It's all with watercolors, this one. Watercolor and gouache, actually. That's all I have in the whole book. But this is sort of became the cover page for my little quotes section. This one says, "Nothing ever goes away until it has taught us what we need to know." And that's a quote from Pema Chodron. And then this is just more random quotes. I love it. Little bits and bobs of wisdom and inspiration. Things from Chogyam Trungpa and Robert Monroe. The greatest illusion is that mankind has limitations. I have, to know, to will, to know, to dare, to will, and to keep silent. I don't know if the light's gonna hit it quite right, but I have like gold and silver metallic sort of strewn about them both also. Oh, there's so much good stuff in here. I got some Joseph Campbell, I got some Brian Bates, I love Brian Bates, some William Blake, Dan Millman, Drunvalo, Melchizedek, Lao Tzu, Helena Blavatsky. This is the Drunvalo one. It says, "As long as the mind and ego control the direction of creating, there will always be problems in the outer world, for the ego thinks only of itself and lives in duality. But when the heart is in control, everything comes back to balance, for the heart feels and knows only the oneness of life." Amen. Oh my god, I even have this this is one of my favorite quotes of all time. And I really like that it's in here because it keeps things a little bit more lighthearted too. I think just looking at this book, it can be like, ooh, this is some serious shit. But you gotta keep a sense of humor about yourself. This is a quote from Bill Hicks. I don't even need to read it. I know it by heart. But it says, "Today, a young man on acid realized that all..." He's doing like this bit where he's like pretending to be a reporter kind of thing. But it says, "Today, a young man on acid realized that all matter is merely energy condensed to a slow vibration, that we are all one consciousness experiencing itself subjectively. There is no such thing as death. Life is only a dream, and we are the imagination of ourselves. Here's Tom with the weather." Love it. This is actually a prayer to Allfather thrown in there. And then over here we have some more bits and bobs and some quotes, some artwork. This is, these were all done with the ink, like pen and just colored pencils. Throughout the entirety of my book, I have a lot written in runes. And it's not even necessarily to keep things secret. I mean, it's kind of cool that that's kind of a side effect of it. It's just something I've been doing since I was a kid. And I can read it very quickly. It's like second nature. Let's see. What can I read you guys real quick? Let's do this guy. It says, "Slay the dragon with the sword. Learn the language of the birds. And undertake the tasks of the years and ages." Sort of my goals as a Norse pagan, like mythologically speaking. Like that's the metaphor in the myths for spiritual evolution. On the next page over here, I have some more prayers. That's what's in the front of this book mainly, is a bunch of just my most commonly used prayers, my favorite prayers and invocations, and just some favorites. They go in the front because they're special. See, this one is called Dear Valkyrie. Down here, this is another absolute favorite. I use this one all the time. This is a great one to do before any sort of divination. That's my house thing song. It goes, Deseer, I entreat, heroes I call, ancestors I invite, land whites as well, weird's web being reveal, visions of days since and yet wove, wisdom of gods, desolation of man, birth and death, children and orlays, joy and woe, punishment and reward, reveal it all, reveal things all. This one is called I Will Drink Thy Mead. Oh, this is such a beautiful one, actually. All right, let me read this one to you real quick. I won't read, like, all these prayers, I swear. But this one says, I will drink vitality from the golden fountains of sunshine. I will drink peace from the silver fountains of mooned nights. I will drink thy power from the mighty Odin of the wind. I will drink thy consciousness as joy and bliss from all the horns, the little cups of my thoughts. And all this life drink sips of mead from great Octagram. In thy blessed light I shall remain awake forever, watching thy precious omnipresent face with an ever vigilant eye through all the worlds of Yggdrasil and all the aeons of eternity. I sought the All-Father's lore in the barren dryness of mortal affection. After wandering through the desert of unreliable human sympathy, at last I have found the inexhaustible oasis of divine love. All-Father, teach me to reclaim my birthright and to live as an immortal, O divine friend. Though the darkness of my ignorance be as old as the world, still make me realize that with the dawn of thy light, the darkness will vanish as though it had never been. What is this life coursing in my veins? Could it be other than divine? All-Father, descend with me. Make me feel that thou art present in my brain, in my spine, and in my deepest thoughts. I bow to thee. I am lost, Odin, in the wastelands of false beliefs. I cannot find my home. Rise on the darkness of my mental sky. Be the pole star of my grasping mind. Lead me to thyself, who art my home. Teach me, All-Father, to redeem my matter-souled mind, that I may give it to thee in joy and ecstasy, in meditation and reverie. So good. I love that one. This one is a prayer to All-Father. I did some pretty knot work up there, colored it in with colored pencil. This is a gorgeous prayer to Freya, Vanity's prayer. And then I have a little bit more knot work that I drew. The knot work I trace from other things and then sort of color in. This is, O blazing light, awaken my heart, awaken my soul, ignite the darkness, tear the veil of silence, and fill my temple with thy glory. Another prayer to All-Father. I did this one with like a metal. I don't think the light's hitting it right. It's shiny. It's metallic. I have a gold staff here in the center there. This is another beautiful prayer to Odin. I love this one. Oh, beautiful. This is so many of these rune dragons everywhere. So like it connects everything, you know, it's a representation of the energy that winds its way through the world and through ourselves and our bodies and our beings, and intertwines and connects everything. It's the web of weird, you know. This is another prayer right here. I have it written out all in runes. Over here is another prayer that I would love to read to you, but I won't do all of them. This is a morning prayer, and this is another prayer. It's called Odin's Warrior. I love this guy. It says, "Oh, my father, great Odin, I have no words to thank you, but with your deep wisdom, I am sure that you can see how I value your glorious gifts. Oh, my father, when I look upon your greatness, I am confounded with awe. Oh, great elder, ruler of all things earthly and heavenly, I am your warrior, ready to act in accordance with your will." Next up, I swear I didn't write down all of the Poetic Edda. I just have two of the poems here. This is the Lay of Odin's Ravens. All in runes. Just looks gorgeous. And then I have Voluspa, of course. These are probably my two favorites, although every single one means a great deal to me. I love them all of Voluspa here. And then it ends here. This is another prayer I have here with some more knot work. This I had in there before. This is a Kabbalistic tree of life. I have a little, just a couple here, right? Yeah, this is Metatron's cube. This is sort of a secret geometry symbol. But this one and this one, the Vesca Pisces with an eye in there, I like having these in my book. I use these for sort of charging things. You can set things sort of on them, and it's good. This is a song. The only lyrics I have in my Book of Shadows are Tool lyrics, believe it or not. If you don't know much about them other than that they are like this sort of heavy metal sort of a band, you might want to revisit it. I mean, it's spiritual music, spiritual lyrics. They're so good. I have probably 7 or 8 of their songs in here. Like, these songs belong in my Book of Shadows. This is Lateralis. This is probably my all-time favorite song, and it's literally sung like in Fibonacci. Like, he sings it in phi. It's tuned to the ratio that exists throughout the universe. You know, it exists in our solar system. It exists in our bodies. You know, this to this to this. It's everywhere. It's the golden ratio. You know, and the song is all about spirals and spiral out, keep going. I mean, there's lyrics like this, like as above, so below, and beyond. I imagine, drawn beyond the lines of reason, push the envelope, watch it bend. And following our will and wind, we may just go where no one's been. We'll ride the spiral till the end, and may just go where no one's been. Spiral out, keep going. Like, this is the most beautiful things in the world. But these ones, they speak my language. They're so good. This one is 46 and 2, which is all about digging into your shadow self, and ascension, really. 46 and 2 is referring to this next level of consciousness and the amount of chromosomes it said we'll have, and blah, blah. That's what this is sort of up here. Which sort of leads me into my next section, which is all about the Merkaba, the energy field around our bodies, and the activation of it. And I have the Merkaba meditation in here, the 18 breath meditation by Druid Fellowship. And you ready? The only place I have a hard time with this book staying open is like right in the beginning for some reason. Once I get further in, it stays open, no problem. But that's why I kind of have this guy here. So I have a bunch of, oh, that's cool, right? I don't know where I got this one from. Our body is light. We are mortal. Our body is love. We are eternal, omnipotent, omnipresent, omniscient, without judgment. Boom. I do believe, by the way, and you guys might think I'm freaking nuts, but the Merkaba is it's a chariot. It's, like I said, it's the energy field around our bodies. It sort of looks like this, like two tetrahedrons interlocked. And when they're activated, they spin and they create this sort of a galaxy spinning shape kind of thing, and it looks just like a UFO. And I really do believe that the way that we are going to travel the stars and into other dimensions is via this vehicle of light, which I think we are all capable of traveling in. I do believe it sort of has something to do, or it's a similar effect, not a full activation, but something's happening with the Merkaba field. When we astral project and we have out-of-body experiences, when fully activated, it will transport our physical body as well, wherever you want to go. But I think it's sort of on a smaller scale. I think I think it has something to do with our ability to astral project. You know, it has to. It's an energy field around our bodies. Okay, more. I wrote all about the Merkaba here. Some of these images come right from this Ancient Secret of the Flower of Life by Druid Fellowship. These guys too, 13 chakra system. This is the what it looks like, your tetrahedron. And then this is the Merkaba meditation I was talking about. It's a few pages long. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful meditation. It involves, you know, watching your breath and visualization and mudras, taking your attention to different areas of the body and things like that. All the way to the 18th breath, which he says will be taught to you by higher self. I haven't gotten that information from him yet. this is an image of our energy body, basically, our chakras, our kundalini rising, my astral projection techniques. Stay. So this, I go through a little bit about the astral projection process, the vibrational state, blah, 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 and then it's literally just that little bit right there. The rest of this, I actually found this great article online, and the bulk of this came from that article, and it was just like a listing of like 30 techniques, things to visualize to help you get out, to physically or to separate from your physical form. The different techniques, you know, like the rope technique is the most famous, where you envision yourself pulling up, and you're thinking about that before you actually are doing it with your astral body. But when it does come time to separate, that's what you're going to visualize to help you separate. But these are all different techniques, and I like having a list of all different techniques or something, really, because it's something to think about before, or something to meditate on, you know, during that process of trying to make your body fall asleep. So I like mixing that up. It keeps me awake, having something different to focus on so my mind doesn't fall asleep. And I've tried every single one of these techniques. And they all work, you know. It's just something different to think about. I added a bunch of other ones in here and took some out that I didn't like from that article anyway. But that's all that is, just a bunch of different astral projection techniques. This is another meditation. This is a multi-dimensional meditation. The theory behind it and the practice here, it is, how do I say this? It's all about kind of sitting with your different bodies, like your different different dimensions of the self. There you go. We'll call it that. The meditation here, this is attunement meditation or attunement practice. This has to do with getting in touch with each one of the elements, each element in each direction and things. Beautiful little meditation. You move your hands to different places on your body, which is nice. I have another meditation. This is meditation, being, and relatedness. It has such a weird name. But I love this one. It's another one that utilizes the elements and gets you in touch with this sort of state of unity and non-duality instead of the point. Okay, and here thus starts my little section on alchemy and the alchemical operations and processes. I love this image. This is an alchemist's prayer. This came actually, I think it's his website. It's a great website. What's his name? Dennis William Hawk. He actually wrote to I think the Idiot's Guide to Alchemy or something. He's a great author. This is a prayer that he wrote that's beautiful. I have a bunch of other ones in here by him too. But his website's a great resource, and I can't remember the name of it, but look him up. You'll probably find it. I'll put a link below if I remember. Here I have another great image. This is a poem, an alchemical poem. This isn't by the same guy. I'm so weird about this kind of stuff in my book, by the way. I do have the author's name here. This one's written by K. Chambers, and the other one I had his name, Dennis whatever. But it's my book. Half the time I don't have who the author was if I take something, because I change so much stuff anyway, and it's just my own personal book, so it doesn't matter. The only time it would even come up is in this exact situation when I would like to tell you who wrote something. But and when it's your own book solely for personal use, it really doesn't matter. This is a page that isn't done yet. This is the front cover page for my Alchemical Correspondences section. I'm really happy with the way this is coming out. I added the ink to it, and I wrote it. And this is another thing I learned when I started learning how to actually draw, was how to do this modern calligraphy, and faux calligraphy too. You've probably seen it already in here, but definitely utilize it a lot more coming up. It's been really fun to learn, and it just adds extra cool pop to my book. I had no interest in actually learning how to do legit old calligraphy. I think this book has an old enough feel, so I like bringing a lot of this a little bit more modern kind of look to it. But I do want to paint this page also. It needs some paint. Over here on this side, I have a bunch of Alchemical Correspondences, the different processes for the different zodiac signs, elemental attributions, associations, sulfur, mercury, the 4 alchemical stages, and all their associations. I have a lot of tarot card associations in this stuff. You will notice too that I have no tarot or rune or astrology stuff in here. I have separate books devoted to that. And the same thing when it comes to journals and dream journals. I have separate places to write all that stuff. This book is specifically just for like reference and inspiration. I have boiled it down to those 2 words. Anyway, this next section, this is all still Alchemical Correspondences. I have the main 7 operations here and all the correspondences that I associate with them, including, the root chakra for calcination. I love the way these pages came out. This is all faux calligraphy, so some of the words sort of jump off the page, but I have one of these for each one of the operations, and then behind it, I have, that's actually from that guy's website too. He didn't write this one, but a poem having to do with each operation. It's beautiful, and I actually love that I'm left with all the space here. I purposely didn't put any borders or anything here because I have a lot that I want to write in eventually for each one of these. But here is the second operation, dissolution, all its associated symbols I put on here too. I mean everything. It's associated element, archangel, all the planets, the metals, saying from the or a bit from emerald tablets, separation, some of the poems are longer, some are shorter, like this is a really long one, but I can always add, if I need more space. Like I think this is a short one. Yeah, like it's literally just on the back, and I already started writing some stuff in for this one here. So conjunction is sort of short right now, but I can always, like I said, it's post-bound. I can add as many pages as I want. It's also nice, by the way, to not have to work in order, or not have to say these pages are going to be for this. And you could jump around. You can work on whatever you feel like working on at the time. And just throw it in there and move it around later. It's been such a pleasure. Fermentation. I tried to add little drips, bits of color with the associated colors too. Distillation and coagulation, followed by a poem. Gold coagulation. I have like 3 poems here for coagulation. Okay, still in the alchemy section of my book. Another image that I love that I had last time. This is a new one. I love this. You guys, do you see why I love the Tarot of the Holy Light so much? I love old alchemical imagery. Its symbolism is so powerful. I just love it. This is 2 different translations or versions of the Emerald Tablets. This one is by Blavatsky, Helena Petrovna Blavatsky. These images I had to put in here. I wish I printed them out in order because that would have been nice. But you can find these online. This is they're modern images, but of old alchemical drawings. The artist just did such a great job. He maintained, he or she, I don't know, sorry. But they just maintained the correct symbolism for everything. It didn't take too many creative leeways. Not that there's anything wrong with creative license or anything, but when it comes to this sort of thing and keeping the symbolism, sort of how it should be. Well done. I love these. It looks really cool printed on the parchment paper too. I mean, the images are already aged and sort of old looking, but I love them. Oh, what's that? This is a couple more Tool songs, Third Eye and The Grudge. If you are a Tool fan, you will know why the song The Grudge is in my alchemy section. So like part of this goes, Saturn comes back around, lifts you up like a child, or drags you down like a stone to consume you till you choose to let this go. Give away the stone, let the oceans take and transmutate this cold and fated anchor. Give away the stone, let the waters kiss and transmutate these leaden grudges into gold. Let go. So good. These are some pictures that I just printed. I haven't added anything to them just yet. I have a section here all about different alchemical stuff under the heading of the great work, which is the work of alchemy. A little bit about what the dragon represents, the philosopher's stone, the goal of the work. This is the Sigillum Deameth, John D. I have to age this paper a bit more. It looks so bright compared to everything else. I do, even on my parchment, like, I age it. I take a paintbrush and I dip it in these two colors. These are both those Tim Holtz Distressed Ink. This one's Walnut Stain. This one is Antique Linen. I should do a whole video on all the stuff I use to make the book, or like make the pages for the book. But you can see, like, none of these have been aged yet. But you can see, like, oh, like right there, even that's been aged. Aged, not aged. You can see the difference in the camera, but it's a big difference. Okay, moving on. This is another table of correspondences. I have the phonetic associations between the English and Hebrew and the runes, and then the Phoenician, the Hebrew, and the Greek. And I have the names of the Hebrew, the names of the Greek. I have my astrologic associations. I have my tarot associations and runic correspondences. I have the numbers in Hebrew that they're associated with. And I have the numbers of the tarot cards over here. But yeah, oh, it says it down here. Alphabets, astrology, and Phonetic correspondences. Next. I know, there's so much in here. So much. We have... Rosy Cross. I drew that. That was such a bitch. This one I printed. This is Levy's Baphomet. Such a great image to sit with, sort of as a mandala or something too, to meditate with. All the pairs of opposites are there. Okay, and then I'll go through all the numbers here. Numerology, and the numbers are big with me. I love them. I love them. So I go all the way up to 13. Instead of just 9 or 10, I went to 13. Yeah. So on the numbers, I didn't leave too much space to draw. I have a little space here. I'll probably put something there. But on these guys, on my symbols pages, I left intentionally a lot of space in between sort of each section so I could do this sort of thing. Some of them I printed, like those two I printed out. I wanted to actually do some drawings myself. These are still in pencil. I might ink them in. Does this look familiar to you guys? By the way, oh my god, I love that this reminds me of this. But have you ever seen... I keep burping during my videos. Have you ever seen Leonardo da Vinci's sketchbook where he drew the seed of life and the flower of life all over some of the pages in his sketchbook? That's what this reminds me of, and I really wasn't even going for that at first. These were all done with a compass and in pencil, and then erase whatever I don't want there. But I haven't done too much else. I have a couple little ones on this page that I drew. I drew these guys and that guy. But yeah, so it goes through circle and then triangle. Sorry, it's hard to turn the page. I have a camera up between my arms. It's actually hard for me to even see my book. I have a little section for the triquetra, a little section on crosses. That's going to be fun to draw, my crosses. And then into squares, and then the rest of this is all pretty much stars and shapes too. But I have the pentagram, and then I wrote, all about it. So you end up under the heading of sort of the pentagram section. We have our pentagon and the pentacle and the pentangle and everything. Everything that sort of has the same symbolism. And then into probably my favorite, the hexagram. I have a lot written about the hexagram. There's the Unicursal Hexagram. I did this in a video. I don't remember what one it was. One of my tarot reviews. I sat there and drew out all these different stars for some reason. Different ways of doing them. It's really a fun exercise, though. And then we get into heptagrams, septagrams, 7-pointed stars, and 7-sided shapes. Heptagrams are actually really cool. You know, I like the 7-pointed star. They're very powerful. You have your planetary association, days of the week, you know, all the 7s, colors, good stuff. There's all that, the days of the week and the associated god, or planet really, with each day of the week. This is an obtuse heptagram. And then we move on, the Octagram, the 8-pointed star. It can also be drawn as 2 squares. Talk about the Ogdoad. So fun. And then the Anagram, another one of my favorites. I did a Volk knot down there, which is the same thing. You can create the same shape as this star with 3 triangles. You get your 9 points. This page is going to look, these pages are going to look so cool when they're all filled in. And then onto the Decadrine. Decadrine? Is that a drug? Decagram, 10-pointed star. You got all your obvious Kabbalistic Tree of Life associations. The nDecagram, the 11-pointed star. It's not too popular anywhere outside of like Golden Dawn kind of stuff. But it does exist, and it's a beautiful image. And then the Dodecagram, that's the last star I have in here, which is a 12-pointed star. All my dodecagrams. Dodecagram. And moving on, I have a little section here devoted to sacred geometry, and that's all it is. It's really just like basic information. Information on the Platonic solids, Fibonacci and Phi, and the golden mean, Metatron's cube, and then I love this where we sort of go through each stage of the development of the flower of life. You know how the seed of life is. And as it's created, it's the 7 days of creation kind of thing. I have a little bit about about squaring the circle. And then I moved into, this stuff's really cool. I love this ritual. This is all right, I gotta explain this. It's the pentagram rituals. It's the pentagram rituals, the banishing and invoking rituals, the lesser and greater rituals of the pentagram and the hexagram. Now, when I first discovered this stuff, I was like, this shit is awesome, but I can't use it. Like, I just can't get down with it. It has the wackiest friggin' associations I've ever seen in my life. It just doesn't make sense to me. His elemental associations, just some of Crowley's associations are... You know how I feel about his associations with the tarot and everything, too. Like, they're just a little bonkers to me. So I found this article probably like 10 years ago, and I have the bulk of it actually printed out in here. That's why this is the new Banishing Ritual of the Pentagram. It's by this guy who wrote a bunch of books, and I can't think of his whole friggin' name. It's like Michael Osiris something or other. Oh my god, that's so embarrassing. Whatever. If you think of his name, put it down below for me. But I found this article that he wrote. I don't think it's in any of his books, but I found it online a long time ago anyway, and it just struck me so perfectly. It just resonated. It was exactly... He took issue with these same exact things in this beautiful, what should be a beautiful ritual that I took issue with. He sort of calls them blinds, like they're intentional... misleads or something, because back in the day, and especially with Crowley, loved to not divulge everything, which may be the case. I don't friggin' know. I don't care, because the changes that he made are the exact changes that I would have made, and for some reason at the time I don't know, I thought this was like something that you just couldn't touch. Like, I couldn't do this ritual if I had to make changes to it to get it to fit my beliefs and my worldview and everything. But you can do that. I have obviously learned that now. But this was just such a cool moment in my practice where I just felt so validated finding this article that I wanted the bulk of it like in here. And in the article he explains, actually I'm sure I could find it online. I'll link it below this article that he wrote. So that's a couple pages in here, followed by the actual ritual itself. I don't have the images drawn out correctly, like the changes with the pentagrams when you draw them in the air and everything, but I left that space there so I could draw them in. Now the banishing and invoking rituals of the hexagram, subtle changes, like the same changes we made over here are sort of made in this ritual too, but for the most part that's a little bit more the same. But they're both in here, and I love them. The lesser ritual of the hexagram is more about invoking, instead of the elements with the pentagram, you're invoking or banishing planetary intelligences, you could say. Yeah, I love these. I love them. With the changes that I made to them, I love them. This is all about the hexagram ritual. And these guys I kept the same. I found these images online. They are fantastic. Good information here. There's so many different ways to perform this ritual, so I like having all the information in one place. And then here it is, actually the lesser ritual of the hexagram.